Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Cheap Shots, the series that is dedicated to showing you how to save money on this miniatures wargaming hobby. And on today's episode, we're doing something a little bit different than I usually do on this channel. Most of the time whenever I do a cheap shot video, I usually show you some kind of hobby tool or some method of painting your miniatures to save you a bunch of money. And the reason why is because, in my opinion anyways, whenever it comes to saving money in the miniatures wargaming hobby, the best way to do so is by making sure that you use cheaper paints to paint up your miniatures. Paints can be extremely expensive, especially if you're using some of the name brand paints to paint your miniatures. Companies like Army Painter and Citadel, for example, they make great products and they do an excellent job. The only problem is they're kind of expensive. In some cases, a lot of players out there are actually spending more money on paint to paint up their armies than their actual armies actually cost them. And so that's one of the reasons why I like to do a lot of paint tutorials, because it's the way I can help you save the most money most of all. Things like basing your miniatures, magnetizing your miniatures, building things out of, building a different type of buildings and terrain pieces out of scrap materials, that sort of thing. But on today's episode, what we're going to do instead is show you how you can use different miniatures in your wargaming system. Specifically, we'll be taking a look at Games Workshop's Kill Team, and we'll be looking at the Imperial Navy Breachers and how you can use these guys for multiple game systems outside of Kill Team, and more importantly, how you could use these guys in Necromunda. So in this video, we're going to talk about some of the ways you can use these guys in different game systems, exactly what kind of lists you can make with these guys using your games in Necromunda, and of course provide our overall conclusion on these miniatures. So with that being said, let's get this cheap shot on a roll. So one of the ways that we can help save you money on the miniatures wargaming hobby is finding multiple game systems that you could actually use your miniatures for. In a perfect situation as a miniature wargamer, if you're looking for a way to save money, it's best to pick an army or a skirmishing unit or some kind of group or warband or faction of miniatures that you can use for multiple game systems. In fact, the ultimate dream in saving money for miniatures wargaming is buying a set of miniatures that you can use for at least 3 or 4 different games. If you can do that, you've basically hit a gold mine when it comes to saving money on the miniatures wargaming hobby. So for example, the breachers here, especially the Imperial Navy breachers, you can use them for multiple games. So first and foremost, you can use them for Games Workshop's Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. After all, the breachers were actually designed for that set, and so because of that, obviously going to use it for that gaming system. So that's one of them. The second one you can use it for is for Warhammer 40,000. Now, you might not be able to use them in larger games of Warhammer 40,000, but you definitely use them in the new boarding action rule set that has been released from Games Workshop in their Arcs of Omen lineup. That's more of like a skirmish level kind of game where you have actually squads of soldiers fighting it out inside of boarding actions and outside of ships. So you could definitely use these guys for that. After all, these guys are naval breachers. Their job is to do boarding actions on enemy vessels. So that's one way you could definitely use these guys for as well. Another way you could use them, of course, is for a game system called Space Station Zero. Space Station Zero is developed by an independent game company called Snarling Badger Studios. They, of course, are a miniatures agnostic games, so because of that, you could use these guys for crews of Space Station Zero. It's usually either a solo play or a cooperative play campaign system. There's like 24 different missions. It's a really good game system. In fact, my channel has actually made quite a bit of battle reports and actually went through an entire campaign using those rules. And you could definitely use these guys as a crew that is engaged in Space Station Zero as well. At the same time, you also have the wonderful free rules that are released by One Page Rules. One Page Rules, of course, is one of the gaming systems that are becoming very, very popular right now. You can use them for their skirmish level game or even in their larger scale games as well of a Grimdark Future. So that's 6 different games that you can use with these breachers just from that alone. Now in this video, we're going to show you how to use them for the 7th type of game, which is for Necromunda. Now for those of you guys who are unfamiliar, Necromunda is a gang style skirmish game that takes place on the hive world of Necromunda, and it takes place in an industrial wasteland in an overcrowded hive city where gangs fight constantly. And in fact, you could actually use these Navy breachers to do so, and the reason why I believe you can do so is because of a particular type of gang known as an outcast gang. Outcast gangs are gangs that are having a delegation of core members from either noble houses, merchant guilds or from the criminal organizations of Necromunda. And I've actually done a whole series talking about the different types of gangs that are available that you can make from those various types. In fact, I have a huge playlist that shows all of them. So if you're really interested in learning how to do an outcast gang, I suggest you check out one of those videos. Now, these miniatures would be perfect for a noble house outcast gang from House Graham. House Graham is a military style house in Necromunda. They view themselves as being the best tacticians and strategists with the best equipment for their soldiers, and this gang fits, this group of miniatures would work perfectly for that type of gang. And so that's what we're going to talk about next. We're talking about exactly how you could use these guys in a House Graham outcast gang. Alright, so let's talk about how you could use these Imperial Navy Breachers as a House Graham outcast gang. So as you can see, I have a picture here of the miniatures, because I'm going to point out each individual miniature and how you could use them in your gang. And over here on the right hand side here, I got the list for this gang. So let's go ahead and talk about them real quick. So your Imperial Navy Breachers could be used as a House Graham outcast gang for the noble house of House Graham. And this list will be 1,000 credits, and these are the miniatures that you would have to use to make this gang. So first of all, you have to use the Navis Sergeant at Arms, which is this character over here. This person would actually be your leader, which is called a Kriegmeister. A Kriegmeister, of course, is a nobleman who's actually really good at well, supposed to be good anyways, at strategy as well as tactics. Now for the Kriegmeister, you're going to give them a Mastermind archetype. You're going to give them the Overseer skill, because they automatically come with that. And with the Mastermind archetype, you're giving them the Munitioneer skill. And the reason why is because the weapons that this character actually is equipped with has some pretty high ammo rolls. This guy's got actually 240 credits, and they come with light carapace armor for a 4-up armor save. They also have a bolt pistol as well as a power sword. The bolt pistol is a 6-up ammo check, and that's why you want to use the Munitioneer skill on that guy in order to help them out. Now, if you notice in this miniature, they didn't show this with the Munitioneer with this character because he's holding a helmet in his hand, but he does have a sword on this hip, so that could be used as a power sword. There's also an option for another sculpt to have a power sword instead of a helmet, so you can definitely use that to make your Kriegmeister. After that, you're going to use one of your Navis Gunners. It's going to cost 200 credits. This person's going to be your Outcast Champion, and that's this guy here. Your Navis Gunner here is going to be your Outcast Champion. You're give him the Gunslinger archetype, and Trick Shot will be the one you give it to him, so that way he doesn't suffer as much penalties from shooting at enemies who are behind cover. He's going to be having Mesh Armor as well as a Mining Laser. He's going to cost you 200 credits in order to build that. So that would be this guy over here, would be one of your champions. Now then, you also use your Navis Endurant. That's going to be your second champion, so it costs 85 credits. Now this guy right here on the top of this shield, that's going to be your Navis Endurant. For 85 credits, this guy's got Gunslinger archetype with fast shots so that we can shoot multiple times because they're going to be considered simple actions. He's got Mesh Armor as well as a combat shotgun with salvo as well as shredder rounds. At the same time, he also has a Ceramite shield, which would give him armor saves, additional armor saves for him and protection. And this could be from the Book of Peril trading post as well. And so that's going to be represented by this guy too. So what you want to do is probably partner this champion with your assault team or with your leaders. That way you can kind of protect them at the same time. Now from there, you can use one of your Navis Armsmen. It's going to cost you 90 credits. Your Navis Armsman is anybody who's got a combat shotgun. So this guy over here or this guy from over here could be that miniature. This guy's going to be your Jaegerkin, which is a Ganger level fighter. It's going to cost you 90 credits. He's got Mesh Armor as well as a combat shotgun with salvo and shredded rounds. He's also got the Marksman as well as Bodyguard special rules. And that's going to be represent your Jaegerkin as one of these two guys up here, which is going to be kind of cool. Now they're going to use another one of your guys' Armsmen for 75 credits. So it could be either one of these other two fighters. That's going to be an Outcast Hive Scum. Is going to have Mesh Armor as well as a shotgun with solid and scatter shots. Now the reason why these guys are going to be have the normal shotgun, you could upgrade them later with a combat shotgun. After all, these shotguns these guys are carrying, these miniatures can be used as either normal pump back shotguns or as combat shotguns. It works for both. I highly suggest as the campaign develops, you get this guy a combat shotgun later on because those things are powerful. Now you can have an Avis Axe Jack because of that as a Hatch Cutter and Axe Jack, so they could be your two guys over here. Oh, I got these names mixed up. I do apologize. Your Navis Axe Jack, which is this guy over here, is going to cost you 80 credits. He's going to be an Outcast Hive Scum with Mesh Armor. He's got a two-headed axe, no duh, as well as an auto pistol. So that's going to be your Navis Hatch Cat. That's going to be one of your guys' Outcast Scum. And then you're going to have your Hatch Cutter, which is this guy over here with the little chainsaw glove up here on the top. That guy's going to be equipped. He's going to be an Outcast Hive Scum with 80 credits. He's got Mesh Armor as well as a chain sword, represented by his chain gauntlet, as well as an auto pistol. So that's going to be two of your close combat fighting guys over there as well. And lastly, your Navis Surveyor, which is this guy over here with the little data pad in his hand, or it could be this guy up here as well. Either one is perfectly fine. That's going to be your rogue doc for your gang as well. It's going to give you 50 credits in order to do that. And that's going to be the hanger I'm going to have for this guy as well. So assuming that you follow this plan, you're going to actually have one spare a miniature, which is 2 miniatures which are spare, which is this guy here and this guy back here. I believe that's another surveyor, I believe. I think he operates the little robot down here, and this guy up here on the top is supposed to be a grenadier. Now you could use those guys for armorsmen, or you could actually use them as their various roles and just, you know, use them for whatever you want to. But it gives you 2 extra miniatures that you could use to help build your gang and grow your gang as your campaign develops as well. And of course you could do exactly the same thing with these guys. Either make one a gun skull or a med skull, or you can make one into like some kind of robotic exotic animal that you probably purchase of some sort, and you can use it for your gang and then make it a little bit better as time goes on. So there you guys have it. This is the gang list I would recommend for your Imperial Navy breachers, is by making them a House Graham Outcast gang. Alright, so there you guys have it. This is how you guys can use your Imperial Navy breachers from Games Workshop Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team, and how you can use them for multiple gaming systems, specifically for Necromunda. And the reason why is because Necromunda is such a versatile and, you know, vast array type of game with so many different miniatures that you could use, because Necromunda is so varied in the number of gangs they have, the types of gangs they have, and just the environment itself. It's a criminal underworld wasteland full of all kinds of interesting, colorful characters. So you can pretty much use anything you want to in order to represent those kind of elements in a game of Necromunda. In fact, one of my viewers on my channel actually dropped the hashtag every model is a Necromunda model, and that person is exactly right, because when you think about it, any kind of miniature that comes out, regardless of what company makes it, or in many cases what it even looks like, you can pretty much use it in Necromunda some way, shape, or form, and just pass it off as either a mutant or a deformed person or a scavenger or whatever you want to use it for, because that's how great of a game Necromunda is. It allows a lot of variety for miniatures, as well as playing options for your gangs as well. So there you guys have it. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.